Welcome to today's podcast episode where we're going to be talking about how you can become a full-time content creator. Being a full-time content creator looks different for everyone. It usually includes having multiple streams of income, with YouTube being one piece of the puzzle. So we just want to welcome today Katrina Torrijos, who started YouTube 7 years ago, has been a full-time content creator for the past 3 years, and is at almost 4,000 YouTube subscribers. So thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're glad because we're excited too. And one thing we want to ask everyone who joins our podcast is, what inspired you to start YouTube?
Oh my gosh, it was such a long story. But I started YouTube when I was a sophomore in university, my second year, and I just wanted a creative outlet because like growing up, I've always wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be an actress, but at the time there wasn't a lot of opportunities for Asian American women to be
Mhm.
on like mainstream media. So that was kind of crushed. I went through like acting school and everything and they were just like, "Nope,
Oh,
she doesn't have
really?
the look." Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So I went to college and then I just took on a degree that was easy enough for me to understand that's not STEM. So and I was bored in my room and I just remembered I was like, you know what? I want to start a YouTube channel because I really love like filming things, like making films, vlogging, I guess, before it was even called vlogging at the time. And so I just found like an old camera that I had laying around, started shooting like lifestyle videos because that was really like popular at the time, like doing like outfit hauls and like favorites videos and stuff. So I started doing that. I just really wanted to have like a platform where I felt, like I was making a show and that I was like the main character, like what I've always wanted to do. And I called the shots and everything. So that was the start and kind of like the reason why I wanted to do it.
so good. Yeah, I'm glad that
Hmm.
you found your creative outlet because you really are natural on screen. You're always very engaging. So when you started, did you have the plan of becoming a full-time content creator, or when did that become the plan?
It was a dream. Definitely when I started, I was definitely watching a lot of Jen Im, who was Close Encounters at the time. And she was in UC Davis in California, and I was at UC Santa Cruz. And I was just like super inspired that she was just making videos in her dorm room and stuff, and all like the fashion videos and makeup videos and doing reviews. And I thought that was really cool. And I was like, wow, like I really wanted to do that. And so, it was always a dream. But then when I graduated college and, student loans and stuff and like had to get a job and stuff, that dream kind of like slipped away because I was like, you know what, I have to be practical, got some money to pay back, got to start working full time. So I put that on hold for like about a year and a half and I started going into the full time, well, part time to and then full time workforce. I just took a couple like retail jobs here and there and then I started working at like a couple startups in Silicon Valley and stuff and trying to get my footing in like the tech industry. But it didn't really work out. It was tough at the time. I was getting a lot of layoffs and
Right.
like I kept getting let go. So like my luck in the post grad job hunting realm was just very unlucky. And I just remember I was like, I need to take a month off because I think I went through like 3 jobs in the course of a year,
Yeah.
which is really tough. Like it's sad because as a new grad, I was like, what's wrong with me? Like I did not pick up the skills. I thought the problem was me the whole time, but down the road I realized it wasn't. So I
Mm.
ended up taking off a year and I was like, something's not working here. Like I don't get it. Like what's going on? And I just remembered like I think I was taking care of my sick uncle at the time because no one could watch him. So I volunteered to, since I wasn't doing anything, I
Yeah.
just wanted to help my aunt out so she could go to work and so someone would
Mhm.
watch him. And I just remember like at like 2 in the morning, I just had like this epiphany, this moment where I was like, you know what? Why don't I just pursue a creative career? Because like it's something I love to do. I love doing YouTube. At the time I had a blog. I loved writing. I loved taking photos for Instagram. I mean, maybe it's not a full-time job yet. Influencer wasn't like really mainstream at the time, but like I was just like, I kind of, I want to do it, but like being from like an Asian household, like our culture is very like you have to get like a really prestigious like STEM job, like either a doctor, a scientist, lawyer,
Yeah.
those really high tier jobs. And like my parents were like, we sent you to college to do this. Why are you not doing it? But I was just like, you know what? Like maybe I should just stop lying to myself. That was like the breaking moment where I was like, I'm pretending to get into like the AR VR space, like augmented reality and stuff, and like trying to do all this tech stuff that I knew nothing about or really had interested in. I was like, you know what? I am going to purchase my first domain on
Oh.
WordPress. Let's make a blog. Let's buy a layout or something from Etsy. Let's just start this up and let's see what happens in like a month. And then I remember the next day I called my mom and I was just like, hey, mom, don't be mad. Don't worry. But I'm gonna pursue being a full-time blogger at the time. I wasn't doing YouTube, I think,
Mhm.
like fully yet. But I was gonna integrate it somehow. Like I YouTube was just a hobby at the time, so I didn't consider that route. I had a lot of blogger friends, so I thought that was the way to go. So she was like, what is that? What is a blogger? And I was like, just a full-time creator, mom. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I mean, I'm gonna be an artist. And she was not very enthusiastic, but she was like, okay, as long as you're making your bills. And I was like, okay, that's a mom language for we'll see if it works out, and if it doesn't, your ass better
Right.
get a job, a real job. So I had to make it happen. But yeah, that's that's
Yeah.
kind of like the point where I decided like I'm gonna pursue creativity.
Yeah, nice. You have a really cool background. I think a lot of people will be able
Mhm.
to relate because sometimes it takes a while to find yourself and find something that you're really passionate about and that works for
Yeah.
you. And yeah, I completely agree. Like becoming a full-time content creator isn't like a traditional job. So there's a lot of people who might not really understand what it's
Mhm.
about. So at the moment, you're a full-time content creator. From a video that I saw from I think a few months ago, you said
Yeah.
you have 3 jobs. So I just wanted to ask you, what is it like being a full-time content creator now? What does like your
Mhm.
typical week look like?
So that video was actually filmed a year and a half ago.
Okay, so it might have
Um,
changed since then.
Yes. Well, yes and no. My perspective has definitely changed. I feel like back then I was just starting to become a full-time content creator. Now I'm really in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I can fully disclose that the way how I describe full-time content creator, as you said, it looks different for everyone. And it's like multiple streams of income. So how my full-time content creator status looks like is I actually do have a 9 to 5. I do work for a corporate company. I can disclose it. I work for Adobe,
Ah, very
and
cool.
I am a how do I say? I'm like a tech evangelist. Yeah, that's my role, and I represent the product Creative Cloud Express. Now, I'm not about to get too salesy on you guys on this podcast, but basically what I do is I focus on the product on Creative Cloud Express, and I create YouTube videos. That's one of my jobs. I create YouTube videos. I do live workshops. I stream for them. I'm actually starting to do weekly live streams on their YouTube channel starting this week. And basically, I just create a lot of content for them to repurpose on their social channels, and I foster and create a community around Creative Cloud Express. And then on the other side, I have all my personal channels, which is like the YouTube channel. I'm also a Twitch streamer. And I retired my blog, so I don't have that anymore. That has changed. And then, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I do some like collabs with other creators in the area. I'm just like a full on creative, like at my day job and after work. So that's what my situation looks like right now.
If you're listening, make sure to follow Katrina Torrijos on YouTube,
Yay.
Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, all of that, so you can engage with her even more on all the
Yes,
platforms.
yes. It's just my name, so it's really easy to search me up.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I will have all the links there.
Mhm.
Definitely, that job sounds really interesting. I guess I hadn't thought of that, and the name is very, I don't know, very difficult. It's not just,
Yeah.
content creator for this or something like that. In terms of finding
Mhm.
a creative job like that, or how would you recommend people look for that, especially when the titles of the roles could look very different in different companies?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say like how I came about this job is like I started at Adobe as a social media manager. And then after that, after being in that role for like half a year, then I became like a community engagement specialist. So there's a lot of companies that have community sectors in their company. And basically, what those departments do is they are kind of like the people who interact with the customers and like the community at the forefront. So that's everything like social media, campaigns, if they do live streams, just any time, like any touch point between like the company and the community, like that's where that will fall under. So that's like a really big hint if you really want to get into the community side of things, because a lot of like the big campaigns you see on like social, on TikTok and stuff, it falls under that. In terms of like finding like a creator specific role, I've seen a lot of different things, like different names for it. Like for mine, Adobe calls their creators like evangelists, but there's also ambassadorships. There's also, I would say, like a lot of the marketing stuff, like community management is another one too that also deals with a lot of like content creation and talking with people. And then there's like the social media people who like create the stuff that gets put out. It really depends on like how you want to interact with the community. Like some people I know for our live streaming team, they mostly want to just do live streams on Behance and on YouTube. And then like there's the social media people who just want to do things for like just Instagram, like static posts and stuff like that. And then there's another, we have a video team that focuses on YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. So it just really depends on like what kind of content and how you want to interact.
I'm taking tips because, I'm also a student, so I'm going to be
Mhm.
looking for jobs very soon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I
And
do a lot of workshops with the student community, and so they
yeah.
love, like, career tips and how to, like, break into, like, the corporate world and stuff.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the other thing in terms of a stream of income is your own content creation outside of your full-time
Mhm.
job. In
Yeah.
terms of making money out of it, if you're comfortable sharing, of course,
Yeah.
what are the ways you get it? Because I know obviously you can get paid a bit by YouTube, but most of the times
Mhm.
people get sponsors or collabs or
Yeah.
other things. So how do you kind of make money out of that?
So I would say there's a couple ways. So definitely I do have monetization on my channel. So I do get the AdSense money. But it's not very much. I would say
Mhm.
it's like $15-$20 or something.
Okay.
Um and then like a month consistently. But then I think the money, like I make like a little less than part-time
Mhm.
income from what's it called, my channels. So there's the AdSense part on both YouTube and Twitch. And then on I do affiliate marketing through Amazon. So I do have like a storefront. I like to link my setup. So that's another tip. Like I have two storefronts, one for my Twitch setup and one for my YouTube setups. Cause people always look at like, oh, like what camera is she using? What mic is she using? People will just look into that. And like if I'm doing a product review, I'll have like an affiliate link. And that seems to work pretty well. I have made like a couple $100s off of Amazon affiliates. It's my most recommended way to go about it. I also do collabs. They're not as often. I probably book like two to three collabs per quarter. And that's like about like $200 or $300. I'm really cheap compared to like what a lot of like my other creator friends charge. But because I have the 9 to 5, I don't rely on this
Yeah.
side so much anymore. So that's why I'm just realistic about my time. I won't like upcharge like to the thousands, because my following is still pretty small and really niche, but they're still really engaged and supportive of any of collaborative content that I put out. So it's still valuable even though it's a small audience. And then what else? Oh, and then Twitch itself is another one. So with Twitch, there's like subscriptions and stuff. And I think YouTube might be the same with like their memberships model, but on Twitch, like people can sub for like $5-ish a month to their favorite creator, and it unlocks like perks like emotes or whatever. And so I probably get like 1 or 200 a month from that. It's just like very here and there, a couple hundred or whatever.
But it
Yeah, I would
definitely,
say
like,
like
it would add up, and like you said, you
it
do
does
have your
add up.
full-time job, and I think it's good that, like, you're on the ball, you're thinking of all these different ways of, like,
Mhm.
monetizing as well, doing, like, while you're enjoying it. So you gave us a lot of valuable information in that, so I wanted to kind of look into some of that. The first thing you mentioned was the affiliate links.
Mhm.
Is it easy to set that up, and can anyone become part of the affiliate program?
Yeah, it is pretty easy to set up. The only thing is you do have to maintain it, at least for I can't remember the threshold, but I think it's like the first 40 days. I don't know. You have like a couple months or something to make one qualified sale. And once you do that one qualified sale, then your account stays active. But if you don't make that sale, that first sale, they shut down your account and you have to reapply. So that's like the only thing. And as someone who just didn't get it in the beginning, I signed up for the affiliate program like 5 times.
Okay.
But I wasn't doing the affiliate marketing right, or like the video I wasn't putting out was like getting enough interest for people to click. So that's kind of like the hard part, getting the first sale. But after that, the ball just keeps rolling, and then really
I think
easy
it's
to
good to know that you
maintain.
can reapply so many times
Yeah.
and they'll keep letting you in, because I think that was a
Yeah.
worry for us as well when we were looking into it, because we applied once and didn't make the sale like you said. So I was like, "Oh, do we have
Mhm.
to wait now and be 100% sure so that we don't get kicked out again?" So it's good to hear that you did do that 5 times. And the other thing is, you also mentioned that you do work with a few brands. You said that it's
Mhm.
not like that many, but 2 or 3 a quarter is still a lot more than maybe a lot of people listening would have.
Mhm.
So are these brands that you reach out, or do they reach out to you? How do you get that contact?
They actually, all the collabs that I've had actually reached out to me. I don't know how they find me, but they they do. I would say my biggest partner right now is with FlexiSpot,
Mhm.
and they are a standing desk company, and they really like started booming when like the pandemic was happening and everyone was working from home. So it started like they would send me like a little desk riser to make my space better, and then I just had to do a video review or something for them, and then after that they sent me a whole desk. The desk I'm using right
Wow.
now, I don't think you could see it in the frame, but there's a desk in front of me. They sent it, and it's a standing desk. It's really nice. And then they just like keep hitting me up for stuff, and then they like in exchange for YouTube videos, and then pay me. Like I said, I don't charge much. I think they pay me like 400. I think, for the last collab I did with them, but they. It's all about like maintaining your connections and stuff. So, like, the goal is really just to not have one off partnerships. It's to like have a long relationship with these brands because they will come back to you every time there's a new campaign. They'll think of you. So that's kind of like what I've done. Like, I've also partnered with Revive Drinks, who did a launch with Safeway. I just did a quick reel for them for a couple $100, and they really liked it. Now they follow me on Instagram. They like all my posts, so I know I'm on their radar for like
Mhm.
the next campaign. I also worked with Joby, which is like the tripod company that they make the gorilla pods,
Yeah.
which
I
I
mean,
can't.
that's
Oh,
already great examples.
yeah, I'm trying to manifest one with Celsius. I've been
Okay.
posting a lot of Celsius, like the energy drinks,
Yeah.
because I've just been drinking that nonstop. It's great, and they like my posts and stuff, so I'm like manifesting. So I think that's a lot. I think that's kind of like my strategy. How I get these brands to notice me is like, one, I put out good work, and like I put out a good portfolio on my Instagram with all my collab stuff, but also like it's a lot of manifesting. So like posting a lot of pictures like with a certain product, or like being really into like a brand or something and tagging them and everything, getting them to notice you. One of the big strategies I use to get these callbacks.
Right, yeah, that is awesome.
Mhm.
And so you've shared so many amazing tips with us today, but if there's just one key takeaway that the listeners can take, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard.
It's
I usually ask this question too when I'm doing interviews, and
oh.
live streams with guests, and it's so weird being spun back at me. This might sound really cliche, and I feel like everyone always says this, like all the YouTubers who like give out tips, but really, it really is just get started. Don't get so wrapped up in the money, in the logistics, and making sure you have a good set, or like having the right equipment, because I can confidently say every creator that I've helped out or that I've like tried to mentor and stuff, like all of them struggled the most with just getting started, because even before you hit record, you get those like imposter syndrome thoughts all in your head. You start overthinking everything. You start thinking long term, but you can't think that far ahead unless you've taken the first few steps right in front of you. Don't even worry about being perfect, being like making sense or anything, like, or having like good content, because what you think is going to be good is also going to change over time. So really just like be in the moment, just get started. Don't think about what all the haters have not even said about you yet because you didn't put out a video. But like, just do what makes you happy. And if you want to get started on YouTube, just do it. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's a
That's it.
great way to like motivate people right at the end. So we just, I guess, quickly summarize for everyone listening. Just get started, like Katrina just said. The other thing is, if you are looking into becoming a full-time content creator, one thing you can look at is, jobs with companies, at least to get started off with, and look for things like community in the title. And the other thing is, with your own content, look at different strategies to bring money in if that is your goal, and that can be things like having an Amazon affiliate link, and also making sure you tag and make content that brands you like will be seeing, and so they can reach out to you. And when they do, make sure you maintain that contact. And yeah, so thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. This went by so fast. I'm sad it's over. But thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and I'm sure you went by fast to everyone listening because there was so many good tips. And if you did learn a lot from this episode, we'll know that you would learn a lot from our previous episode, which will be right here. And we talked to Brooke on how to get your first 1,000 subscribers. So if that's where you're at, click right here, and we'll see you there.